Okechukwu Ezia, has called for the integration of microfinance banks into the disbursement of agricultural and rural credit programs for improved access to rural finance. Ezia said this during a recent constituency meeting in Nsukka, Enugu State. On the national scene, the Nigerian Labour Congress on Wednesday declared it will embark on a nationwide protest against the proposed 50% hike and increase on the telecommunications on February 4th in a communique signed by its national president, Joe Ajaero. The decision was taken at the National Administrative Council meeting of the NLC on January 8. Failure to reverse the hike, Ajaero warned, might result in a national boycott of telecommunications services across the country. The Nigerian Labour Congress has also issued a stern warning to state governments and other employees of labor, threatening decision actions against those who fail to implement the 70,000 naira national minimum wage and the corresponding salary adjustments by the end of the first quarter of 2023. The president of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, Muhammad Ibrahim, who also serves as the National Internal Auditor of the NLC, emphasized that the state governments and the institutions delaying or manipulating wage payments would face serious consequences. And now in business, the black market exchange rate for today is buying at 1,620 naira and it's selling for 1,640 naira. The dollar to naira CBN rate for today is buying at 1,570 naira and it's selling for 1,508 naira. Still in business, Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria says it has now signed a deal to begin distributing Dangote Refinery Premium Motor Spirits. According to the national president of Petron, Billy Giles Harry, Petron will now begin the distribution of Dangote Refinery PMS nationwide, and that the agreement will end price disparities at filling stations. And in sports, Super Eagles head coach, Coach Eric Chell has stated that the team's goal is to avenge their 2023 Africa Cup of Nations and final loss and win the 2025 tournament in Morocco. Recall Nigeria lost 2-1 to host Ivory Coast in the finals of the 2023 AFCON as the country's search for a fourth AFCON title continues. The inaugural league phase of the UEFA Champions League has come to an end, with 8 teams making it directly to the round of 16 and 16 teams to battle it out at the playoff rounds. The final round of fixtures delivered plenty of action, with goals pouring in as teams battle for a place in the knockout stages. And that is the news. Thank you for joining us. I am Mavis Atudume.
104.3 FM.
Hello, Enugu, and welcome to Volt 104.3 FM, where music meets the voltage.
Take a break and enjoy the show.
Sports.
Alex Iwobi gets the ball down to the left-hand side. The delivery comes in. Oh, it's a great goal!
Entertainment. News and politics.
Enugu State's governor has assented to the electricity bill.
Gospel.
And let them have dominion. The kingdom of God is within people.
I am a soldier and a pacifist.
Odenibo.
Awesome programs exclusively on
Volt 104.3 FM.
Good morning and welcome to High Voltage. Today's Thursday. It's the 30th day of January 2025. And of course, it is almost over. Hang in there tomorrow. All right. Thank God it will be Friday by tomorrow and January will be on its way out. Welcome to today's edition of the High Voltage newspaper reviews, analysis, sharing of thoughts and ideologies to find out how better to push the country forward and, of course, to make our lives better. Welcome to the program. My name is Mavis Atudume. You can join us live on YouTube. I encourage you to like, subscribe, and share. You would definitely like our content. And you can also call live into the studio to join the analysis this morning, 0706 048 5853. You can also call 0915 570 8347, and you will be able to join us this morning. Straight to the newspapers to tell you what's happening. There's so much, so we will have to hurry them up so that we can be able to catch up on all the gist this morning. From the Daily Post, illicit drugs, major hubs identified in Kano State as high cost forces users to cut down patronage. Okay, so it's getting serious. Okay, PDP in messier crisis as National Secretary, Zonal Vice Chairman positions divide NWC. The PDP is currently undergoing a lot of in-house squabbles as usual, but of course there's an election, and at this point that election is barely 20 months old in the making, and all hands have begun to go on deck in preparations for it. And now a house that is not unified amongst itself continues to struggle. EFCC arrests former NHIS boss Malam Yusuf. You can catch up on that story because it's still unfolding. We don't know the reasons why they are holding him yet. He's been arrested. His arrest was confirmed yesterday's evening. What they've not really said what was exactly what he's done, but of course it has to do with alleged misappropriation or money bunkering of some sort. So we're going to find out as this particular investigation of Malam Yusuf continues. We'll see exactly what it is that he's done that is called for his arrest. Okay. Moving forward, Nigerian Varsities Council already written final year exams over wild jubilation. Weird, but of course there's always a reason for things like this, so we'll keep you updated. Breaking news: APC expels Arebeshola over alleged anti-party activities. Like I said, it's getting real serious. This is coming from the APC. You can't be here and be there. But of course, we're hearing rumors as well that Wike and a few other statesmen might be rallying together to form a coalition. Now, I'm wondering why he would be forming a coalition, because apparently he is serving in the present administration, which automatically makes him a member of the APC. I don't care. Like, does it make sense that his PDP, staunch PDP, and now has this very basic career with the APC? Who the coalition, is it really a coalition or it's something else? But like I said, we'll continue to watch and see what happens. Let's see if there's more interesting things to grab from the Daily Post this morning. Tariff hike. Nigerian government snubs subscribers as NLC mobilizes to short economy down. Snub. I like the word snub, because that's basically what it is. Nobody has said anything. The whole time we've been on this tariff hike conversation, nobody has said nothing. Just no institution has said anything in that regard. So apparently the top agrees with this tariff. I mean, they approved it. So I don't know where the label stands at this point, but it's a lot. It's a lot. Well, let's move on. Abia Assembly seeks urgent reconstruction of collapsed Mbato Ofeme Bridge. All right. Please fix said bridge there. people of Abia State, I'm thinking. All right. Okay. I'm trying to see if there's worth more for you to see. I returned to my village after advising Tinubu to become president, says BC Akande. He has been spilling. He has been spilling, but yeah, that's what some people do here. He's been saying a lot. I returned to my village after advising Tinubu to become president. Don't forget, former President Buhari said he now rents his homes, like some pseudo mini estate, real estate business that the former president has now gone into. He says this is how he makes money to sustain himself and his family. Of course, the economic crisis, which everybody agrees with, has affected all of them. They are packing their Rolls Royce and picking up Toyota Camrys. They don't have any sources of money, so they are renting out their homes to make money. It's bad. So what they're saying is you need to also find ways to pinch your lives the best ways that you can. All right. El Rufai started attacking Jonathan after picking Sambo as vice president, says Reno Omokri in his responses to all of El Rufai's outbursts in the past few days. But of course, it's all in focus of 2027. Everybody wants something. El Rufai is apparently ready to run for presidency come 2027. So the works are in place. The works have gone ahead. All right, so this is it. It's happening. 2027, PDP must talk to Peter Obi, says party chieftain Olafeso is the one who has made this comment. It's funny because Peter Obi has made it clear that he will not be having any coalition except it's a Nigerian-centered coalition. So I don't know what that means, but I'm sure it means something to him. So so far, it's still individual coalitions, interest coalitions. He says until he sees a Nigerian coalition, then he can talk. So maybe you people are not understanding what the guy is trying to say. But the politics is all playing out in our faces. So we'll see what happens. We'll see who eventually plays ball, you know. Breaking news, okay, once again, APC expels Aribishola over alleged anti-party activities. All right, but somehow the PDP doesn't expel Wike for anti-party activities. I mean, considering his appointment with APC, meaning he's loyal to the APC, but then he's a member of the PDP. And that business relationship doesn't seem to bother the PDP at all. Which is why a lot of people are questioning their position as an opposition to the ruling party. It's a question that's worth asking, right? Canada announces 6th interest rate court, and we are yet to figure out how far we are going with ours. Nigeria's e-transactions hit 1.07 quadrillion. Okay, I'll take that again. Nigeria's e-transactions hit 1.07 quadrillion, says the NIBSS. Okay, still on the news that you need to know, NIWA plans to grow its revenue above 200% in 2025. Naira strengthens further against the dollar for a second consecutive day. Yay! We are happy for this very great news. That's the much we can take from the Daily Post this morning. Let's look elsewhere for more information. Let's try the Punch News this morning and see what's interesting over there. You can join us to analyze, drop your contributions and thoughts this morning on any of the stories that you may have listened to or heard or that might have caught your interest. All right, you can call our phone lines 070-048-5853. You can also call 0915-570-8347 to be a part of the program. Join us live on YouTube as well. We are broadcasting live on YouTube. It's High Voltage News Please like, subscribe, and share. On the Punch newspaper this morning, Telecom's 50% tariff hike. Subscribers head to court as NCC talks deadlocks. I told you about this yesterday and it's resurfaced back in the news this morning. Apparently, the NLC is not backing down. They mean business. But we are yet to see it come to fulfillment because everywhere is still quiet. Nobody's making any explanations. The telecommunication services are sticking around, and of course the government agencies are also keeping quiet, so nobody has any explanations for these things. So the label might just be talking to itself at this point, but let's see what happens. PDP governors plan summit as leaders exchange blows at BOT meetings. All right, still on PDP, it gets hotter over there. Tariff hike, Labour plans telecom boycott, and February 4th protest. Now, will Nigerians be able to boycott telecommunications? That's a very important question to ask. Are we going to be able to shut it down? We have forgotten that we run a cashless economy, supposedly, and most of us, our entire lives, actually depend on our cell phones because naturally that's what the world has become. But welcome to our country where everything that the people require to function normally is always gambled with. It's always, someone is always trying to prick at it. Someone is always trying to tweet at it, torn at it. And the people will always bear the brunt. Now everywhere is silent until someone comes for monies belonging to governors or money belonging to senators or some money belonging to some very special important people in the country, and now everybody has a 2 cents to drop on the conversation. But whenever it interests the Nigerian people, the common people in this country, everybody becomes silent and mum. Nobody knows what to say anymore. Who speaks for the Nigerian people? Who really represents the people in this country? Aside people like me who may speak and talk or try to talk, who actually represents the Nigerian interest? Maybe the Nigerian people should ask the people who will come to campaign to them in the next elections what the arrangement really is. And if there is going to be some sort of arrangement where we vote for you, and then you tell us what we will do to you when you don't do what we've asked you to do, maybe we will become bold and probably negotiate elections differently in this country, because at this point, it seems nobody is looking out for the people. Why is everybody quiet? Everything that has happened in this country, the president is yet to say a word. Press statements is not replacement for spoken words coming from people with certain responsibilities, people who have an entire nation looking up to them, depending on them, hoping and counting on their decisions to run their entire lives. There has to be a level of respect attached to it that we must all obey, like we must all obey it, so that we can have a structure that is dependable and stable. Because so far it seems anything can happen around here and nothing will happen. And that is a very bad precedence for a nation that intends to prosper. All right, let's continue to reel out the stories this morning. Napoli rejects Galatasaray £65 million Osimhen bid. Okay, so I guess you caught up on all of that with the sports news this morning from our sports guys. You can also catch up on these stories on YouTube. You can check out our other channels as well. Like, subscribe, and share. Trust me, we have you covered on the best content you ever want to be familiar with, right? Expulsion, NMPP woos Arebeshola, APC disowns Oyetola's posters. Okay, if you are not on X, you might want to go there and get your an account. most of the political drama in the world is happening there. That's where the handles are. That's where these people are actually active. That is the social media of choice. That is the political social media where people are actually airing their political thoughts, decisions, ideas, and realities. That's where these handles, these individuals, these powerful people in the world, that's where some of them are tweeting their thoughts and their plans and things that they hope to do with the world. Information is never a disadvantage. All right? DR Congo troops fighting back against Rwanda-backed fighters, says the president. A lot is going on in Congo. We all know prayers have been going on for them for years. But who is ever going to save Africa? That's a good question. Ponder on that while you're going about your business today. Outstanding $7 billion FX cleared, says Cardoso. If you know the history of the story, this is a back debt from almost 18 banks in Nigeria that have not paid their USSD services. That's the bank network services. I mean, the internet that the bank uses that provides your internet banking. They're supposed to pay for these. Now, 18 banks in Nigeria didn't pay. And so collectively, they owed $7 billion to the CBN. So according to the CBN head this morning, CBN chairman, governor, turns out the $7 billion has been cleared out from the Nigerian 18 banks. So apparently nobody will be taking away your online or mobile banking services now. So I guess that particular matter has been cleared out. Moving forward, court remands woman. Okay, so why have they cut me off? The networks cut me off. Okay, so let's try someone else this morning and see what we've got on the news. Okay, speaking of networks, it fluctuates and it fluctuates everywhere. And now they're going to add a 50% hike. It wasn't as if we were getting 100% service anyways, but now it's going to get even more expensive. And we will have nobody to complain to about the bad services that we're getting, but they will insist on their tariff hikes and they will get it. And we don't have a choice but to purchase it no matter how low the quality of the service is. That is the Nigerian story, where no one respects the Nigerian economy or the Nigerian mental health. Where the people are paid a little bit of consideration, their reactions are considered in actions. We buy a lot of things in this country that are not certified. They are not even identifiable. They are not even certified, right? You are letting fake products run around the country. We're purchasing them with monies we don't have. You're making us waste the monies that we're finding so difficult to make. We make the little monies that you refuse to pay us, and then we go to purchase very low quality products and services. And we have nobody to complain to. And the few Nigerians that have tried to complain, it became a game of power. You remember Erisco? That was such a shocking experience in this country. I didn't know that we had fallen so low. And fellow Nigerians stood up to defend such a move. Our selfishness is blinding us to what is even human. Someone makes a review of a product, just one person makes a review of a product about how they felt about the product, instead of trying to prove to the person why the product is good. The typical Nigerian mind decides to use the Nigerian police, to use the Nigerian security agencies to go after said person and put them in a condition that is not okay. Despite her situation, being pregnant and everything that that woman had to go through, the authorities locked her up. What was her offense? Then what do we do to criminals in this country? What do we do to people who embezzle and steal our natural resources? What do we do to people who are the real enemies of this country? What do we do to people like that? If we can, because of our power and our privileges, we can decide who leaves, we can decide who goes to jail. We saw it with the musician where Burna Boy allegedly put Abby, Speed Darlington, behind bars. And statements come out where people say, if you do it again, I will make sure you never see the light of day. I will do this, I will do that. The kinds of audacity that most of us have when we speak in this country tells you of a deeper rot that most of us know about. The audacity that most of us know how terrible things are here should make you worry. Someone says, I will harm you and nothing will happen. There is no fear for law. There is no fear for justice. There is no fear of the armed forces. There is no fear of anything here. Anybody can behave as they see please. Because there is always a loophole here. It is not a one-way street. Here, there is always a way around it. You can dance around everything. People who are caught on camera for being a real menace in the society. We have murderers walking, people who abuse us, molest us all over our environments. They don't go to jail. Nobody's coming for them. But some woman makes a review of a product she purchased with her money. We're going to throw her in jail. We're going to threaten her entire family because we can. And these, my brothers and sisters, this is not the best that we can do. We can do better than this. We can do much, much better than this. The phone lines are officially open. Call our numbers. We are ready. 0706-048-5853. Also call 0915-570-8347. And you'll be able to join me this morning. Let's analyze the news. We are willing and we are ready to move this country forward. Good morning to you. Are you there? Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Fine Glow.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. See, the truth remains sometimes it's hard to...
Apologies. Where are you calling us from, sir?
I'm calling you from MN. My name is Fine Glow.
Fine Bill. You're welcome.
Fine Glow.
Fine Glow.
F-I-N-E-G-L-O. Fine Glow.
Fine Glow.
Mm-hmm.
You're very welcome.
In Abuja. Thank you.
That's fantastic.
So my point is, Nigeria always make English confused. They confuse us with English. I thought telecommunication is not monopoly business.
Okay.
Why are they trying to be in agreement to increase all of them to 2% increment?
Isn't that how to get results here?
Is it not possible MTN can decide we want to be increasing our own to 50%? Why Airtel will say we want to increase our own 20%? And Glo will say no, we are taking, in short, we reduce the percentage, which will make it free for everybody to shop where they want to shop. Why is everything in Nigeria always different? Only Nigeria in geopolitical zone, things that are not in what is it called geography. We found South in Nigeria, only Nigeria.
Mm.
Only Nigeria again. How to, what is it called now? To distribute energy, to make it a free man business. We brought EEDC to Southeast. We brought this one. Electricity.
Hello. All right. Do well to call us back, Fine Glow. I do want to hear your point of view on things. You can also join us this morning. Let's know what you think about these things. But look at it. It's clear as day. It's just greed. It's clear greed because they all know that they will all be approved. Because again, like I said, the Nigerian interest is the lowest thing on the list of priorities. They know that if they come together, because this is all about how it favors their different companies, they know that if it's business. If someone was looking out for Nigeria, they wouldn't all have gotten that approval for that hike, because someone would have remembered to put some competition in the market. But no. You see the point? Someone would have remembered that the people would need a bargaining chip. Someone would have remembered Nigerians and say, okay, let's do it in such a way. Maybe you get a tariff hike and maybe you don't, or maybe you get a certain percentage, or maybe you get a certain percentage. But then you would have thought that the Nigerian interest would come to play. That is what I was thinking. Good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, Maybe.
Good morning. You're welcome.
All right.
Your name and location, please.
My name is Amos Chuk.
You're
As
welcome.
usual, I'm reaching you from Ezego Initial Local Government Area of Ebonyi State. Hello?
Welcome. Welcome, Amos.
All right. Let me say something about the tariff hike
Mm-hmm.
in the telecommunication industry.
Mm.
Okay?
Yes.
You know, in this country, the more you look, the less you see. That's the situation of Nigeria. And I must tell you that there is a fundamental problem with Nigeria. Yes. And I'm saying this with every authority. There's a fundamental problem with Nigeria. And the problem is not we cannot see the possibility of the problem ending. Okay?
Mm.
Because this tariff hike is a problem of the government, and the government has been, increasing everything
Mm-hmm.
without the consultation of the masses. In fact, the government is insensitive to the masses, I must tell you.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about the NLC, they are proposing a protest on 4th February
Mm-hmm.
2025.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see the result of that protest, because we have had a protest before now.
What protest did we have? The hunger protest?
We have had the hunger protest and other protests, but there was no result to that. I think you are with me.
I'm with you, right here.
Yes, we have had a series of protests in the time past, but there was no result to the end of it.
Mm.
Okay. Because even the NLC have become emasculated. To the extent that even I expected the NLC to protest during the removal of fuel subsidy, but nothing happened. So NLC has become a backing dog, which we usually say that is seldom bite. They have become a toothless bulldog. Okay?
Mm.
Well, what the leaders of NLC is trying to do is just to remain what is the normal proper word to use there? To remain valid in the eyes of Nigerians. But for them to achieve a result from that, I don't see anything possible from that.
Mm.
Because they have become emasculated, and the government of the day, they know their onions, they know what they want to achieve.
Mm.
Okay? So, and it's a bad moment for Nigeria. That the masses are suffering the need of plenty. We have everything as people to develop. We have all the whole resources to develop as people, to grow as people, and to enjoy as people. But the manager, the leaders of this country.
Mm.
Okay?
Yes.
So my dear, good day.
You too, Amos, always honest about your opinion on things. I also encourage you to also call us and tell us what you feel about these things that are happening. Tell us, because sometimes you might think you have a grasp on some of these things until you hear another angle or another side of the story that you probably didn't even consider. And like I always say, it is these difference in ideologies. It is one of the reasons why as a people, we mostly don't agree, because we don't know all the sides of the story. Where you see green, I might see white, and I might see black. So sometimes we struggle to agree on whether policies are right or wrong, or whether things are good or bad, and things like that. And those little gray areas are also part of the reasons why we don't see eye to eye on certain conversations. And thereby we cannot move forward because we don't have a unification. We all think different. So will it get to a point where we can come together actually and have one mind on maybe certain things? Some things don't have to be negotiable. There are things that are non-negotiable, like the general goodness of this country. The general upliftment of Nigeria should be non-negotiable. It should be the boundary that everybody has. When it comes to the country, everybody knows that we're not playing with this one. How about that? How do we become more national conscious? How do we bring back love for our country? I'm serious. How do we bring back love for this country? It's worth running a campaign. We must seem to be seen loving this country and loving to be from this country. Good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Greetings to you.
Yes, I'm Moses Okuri. I'm calling from Enugu.
You're welcome, Moses.
Yes. On the side of the tariff hike and the increment, all these increment. For example, we remember that when they removed fuel subsidy, they told us that things will start getting better with time. And it is the people, for example, we know that single act increase everything. That is skyrocketed everything.
That is true.
For example, a loaf of bread I used to be buy bought at 500 naira, turned to the 2,500 or 3,000 naira. How many increments now? And since then till today, things are still going. That is becoming from bad to worse, from worse to even this 70,000 naira minimum wage. We know how long it took them to sign it into law.
That is true.
But up to today, I doubt, I don't know, but maybe one or two states or few medicine are the ones saying it. But I can say that up to 90% of both state and
federal
organizations are not paying it. So now the same Nigerians are the ones you are still exporting and making things to hunt them the more. Where do we go from here? It's a very serious and it's a sad reality that things like labor organization. I don't know how to. So there was a time, the last protest that happened, how the letter gagged and picked the man up, the leadership, and the label something like terrorism or whatever on him, so that they'll quell him finally. That is, so he will just shut up and allow them to do whatever they are doing. And since then, so what I'm trying to say is this: we are in a serious tight corner. We don't know how, and it doesn't look as if there is any help coming from anywhere, because what we normally do all this while is every 1 week. That one news will just come out, and we'll cry, we'll shout. Before you know it, another one will come and they double cross it. And that one will look as if it's no more an issue. So all these things, I don't know the way out, but Labour would have been the way out, but we are seeing how it's going. All the protests that has happened, which was supposed to be the way to go, is the way to go in a same country. If things are not working, people should come out and protest. But today, protest is already no-go area. I don't know what to say, but we are in a serious tight corner. That's why I'm quarreling somebody who is telling us that people should come down to Nigeria. Why we that are here are looking for a way out. So it's a serious problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moses. Thank you for calling. Have a great day ahead of you. Mr. Moses has touched some really sensitive points. You know, we talked about 5,000 Nigerians who are coming back home unprepared from the United States because of Trump immigration policies, where people with 40 immigration papers have been sent home, Ghanaians, Nigerians, amongst other countries, Africa and outside of Africa, who are being sent home. Right. Now, a lot of people believe that this is a good thing. You know, one of my callers argued yesterday that it's a sign and a time, a moment for us to come home and fix our country and everything. But you know, everything has a history. There was a reason the people who were in this country decided to up and leave. You know, sometimes we're not kind when we're trying to say certain things. People don't want to leave their homes. You must know this. Ordinarily, if this place functioned, if this place worked, why would anybody bother going anywhere? If not to probably go do a few things or probably come back. But who wants to go and live in another man's country and work for him? But the international relationship has worked here. People go to churches to pray for their family members to leave the country. We have normalized these things. The Jagba system is religious. We pray for it. We sell properties to leave this country. We do all manner of things to leave this country because it is a means of enhancement. Families depend on their brothers and sisters who do not live in this country to survive. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
My name is Ijoma Victoria from Independent Layout.
You're welcome, Ijoma.
The truth is that you people are trying from this essence. But the question is that the people that are supposed to hear us, hear you, hear every one of us, are they hearing it?
You called, you're hearing it. I like it.
They are not hearing, because if they are hearing it, the word that we will repeat every day by day, it will not be the same. And the question again is, how do we make them to hear it? How do we make these things possible?
How do you think we can do that? Do you have any ideas how we can do that?
That is the question, because the last caller said about the protest. Mm-hmm. How many protests do we do in this Nigeria? How many have worked? How many?
I hear you.
That they looked for it. Instead of that, everything will be going higher by higher, higher to higher. The world is looking like they're putting seed on top of the stone. It's only putting everything in the hand of God. Because only God can change it. Only God can change their mind. Because we are talking, they are not hearing. They are carrying their vehicle, going where they like, to the meeting, anywhere they like, the organization they want to go. They are not hearing it. So my question is, how do we make it? Thank you.
Thank you, Ijoma. Thank you so much for calling. I actually appreciate that. Now, there's a question you asked me, and the fact that you've called this program makes me happy, right? A few ladies have started calling in as well. Now, do you know what this tells me? It tells me that the message we are passing on is catching on. You know why I said that? Because most times women don't necessarily want to comment on political issues, which you make up a larger percentage of. In case you do not know, there are more women around than there are men. Most of you constitute to the larger percentage of voters in this country. So you must understand that you have that power too. So we must all get interested. Now, if, of course, you don't know this, but the government is always listening. I promise you that they are listening. Even if they're not listening, they have people who are listening. Someone is always listening. because feedback is important in everything. So the government likes to get feedback from the people. And that is why the hands that we've been waving this whole time has cost us where we are right now. Because if we had been attentive long before now, we wouldn't have made certain mistakes that we've made politically. And that is why we are calling you to become aware. If you don't know, how can you be interested? If you don't go, how will you know? You can't be interested if you don't know. So you must become familiar. You must start understanding, what does the local government do? What is the senator supposed to do? What is PDP supposed to do? What is Buhari supposed to do? You should know the descriptions. You should know what you're supposed to get. That's why we're saying this. I'm not saying this for, we're saying this so that the both parties, both the governed and those who are governing, this is for all of us. It's just that those who are governing seem to be at a larger advantage than those who are governed. And it seems those who are governed are the ones who are at a disadvantage. And that's why I am encouraging each and every one of us to become aware first. I can always count on knowledge. Knowledge brings about changes that you did not even see coming. When people become aware of something, when people become responsible for certain things and begin to understand how certain things work, it will trigger changes that you don't see coming. But if it is what it is, if we're still making our politics about if it's still what it is what it is. That's how it is. And then we use all of these phrases and we let these people decide how our lives should go. And then, you see, this is where we have a problem. So let us know, so that during the elections, they will meet a Nigerian electorate that now has higher standard of demands. That is the prayer I have for the Nigerian political scene. I want, when the politicians come into the streets, when they come to the communities, they come out to the society to come and make their campaigns. I do not want them to meet people who are politically illiterate. I don't want to see them to meet people who are helpless, who don't know anything, people who are confused. They don't know what they require. Imagine when they come and they cannot tell you about building roads anymore. Don't you want a Nigeria where we're not talking about fixing roads anymore and providing water and fixing the education? No. Would we ever get past this level? Would we ever cross this threshold? Would we ever grow beyond this? It's getting redundant because we do this because 2027, even people who are in power now will come back in 2027 and tell you how they are going to repeat themselves. And this repetition continues and continues. Is there a point where we will say, listen, we don't want to hear this anymore? That is probably the electorate that the Nigerian electorate should become. The electorate that demands accountability, that demands responsibility, that wants participation. Not an electorate that is confused, uninterested, unintelligent, illiterate. Because when they find out that you are that helpless, they bank on it. They bank on your helplessness. They bank on your lack of information. But if they realize that you're all picking it up, that we're all getting it, that we're all coming together, we are all following through, we're watching their actions, that we're questioning their moves, maybe they will act differently. But so far, this is what we have. This is what we're working with. This is what we're working with. So we saying we don't know what to do, we don't know who is listening, all these things, all these laments will not fix it. It's for us to continue to scream. You know, I remind you always what the mother hen always says. She says in all her screaming, she's not screaming that the things that are pursuing her would leave her alone. She says she's screaming because she wants you all to know that she put up a good fight. And I can tell you, I want us all to put up a good fight, so that tomorrow we can say that we tried to stop this from happening. We all rose up. We all tried to do this and do that. It will be sad that our children will come and say, you all kept quiet and you let this happen and you let that happen, because that is what is happening. Some of you, some of us, since we were born, the people who are running the political scene since the day we were born are the people who are still running it till today, and they probably will continue to run it till we're even out of here. How does that even happen? So how do we make the changes that we require? I have a few stories that I need to read out to you before we call it quits this morning. You can also still join me because we have close to 8 minutes before the show ends this morning. So you can still call in, share your thoughts and contributions on all the stories that we're reviewing, because like it or not, it's all connected. So there will always be the going back and forth. We're always going to go back and quote ourselves, because we have not left our past. We're living in it. We don't, in quote, have a past. We're living in our past. All our stories are intertwined. All our stories are connected. So there will always be us going back and pointing fingers from behind, because that's where we still are. We haven't moved forward. We are not really moving forward. The country so far has made some steps backwards, not forward. This is not a forward movement. What we've had this past months, it's not forward movement, it's backwards. We've been dragged a little backwards. Check it. It's in your finances, it's in your economic value. You have literally dropped steps backwards. And I'm talking individually, all of us, collectively as a nation. We have made very significant steps backwards. And now we are all mad at America for cutting off AIDS and cutting off this and cutting off that and becoming America-centered. That is called nationalism. That's what it's called. There's a name for it. It's called self-centeredness. It's called selfishness. It gets to a point people actually, adults, grown-up people actually emulate it. It becomes a virtue at some point where you need to take care of your own self. Now we've been asking, if these aids were being paid and subsidized and you didn't have to spend monies making all of these concessions, so where has Africa's money been going the whole time? Is that how you're able to afford your private jets and your yachts and all the wonderful things that you do and give yourselves and make your lives very luxurious? So apparently, all the retroviral drugs that Africa has been consuming all these years were paid for. And yet, Nigeria itself continues to borrow. In fact, there is a new borrowing endeavors that we have made. Also, the Minister of Information has asked Nigerians to stop asking the president to stop traveling abroad, because we have enough money. Because we have enough money, and that the president needs to travel more. He needs to make more international trips because we can afford it, says the Minister of Information. I'm talking, can we come together and try to actually help? We're looking at quoting costs. I've seen Nigerians writing to Donald Trump, begging him to deport all of children of politicians who are schooling in America, to deport all of them and send them back home, and to stop them from getting Medicare and getting health care from America. Now, imagine that they send all their kids back home. Could that be a sign for them to fix our education system? Could that be a sign that will make them fix this place? Certain things are going to probably happen under the watch of Donald Trump. And I really, really sincerely hope that most of them would indirectly or directly change the face of Africa as we know it. Because Things are not looking great. Things are not looking great. Imagine that this man stops politicians from coming to get Medicare in America, stops their children who are schooling abroad, and sends them all back home. And imagine if the United Kingdom does that as well. Imagine that these people send these people home, back here. The way they are sending these 5,000 plus immigrants from America, imagine the way they are coming home to come and meet our country in its present state, where there isn't even enough food for the people who are here. We have another 5,000 people coming in, and I believe that there are more than 5,000 of them coming. Imagine what is going to happen. I'm thinking of families who are here already, who are being sustained by these individuals who are coming home, because sometimes we forget our own reality in this country. Some of us, when we've had our breakfast, we become so contented and so happy we go to bed and forget what is really going on. Healthcare will fail for so many elderly and aged people in Nigeria, because some of them, money for their medication and health care and general care and provision comes from families abroad, family members abroad, who are able to spare a couple of thousand here and there to help support. Because God help you, in this country, you are a minimum wage earner, because the minimum wage is not even coming. The NLC, as of today, is still threatening strikes over minimum wage. It's been almost a year that we've been having this conversation about the minimum wage. Nobody wants to care about what happens to the Nigerian people. You will think that when it comes to the people, there'll be an exception, but we're not seeing that. We're not seeing that. This is a plea to the federal government. I know you do have other people who are under you who are supposed to do these things, from the governors to the House of Rep members, to the speakers, to the senators. All of these people, I believe you to be the final power and control, which you are. You are the commanding chief of all armed forces in this country. You are the say-it-all. I guess that's what all the brouhaha is about. So I'm asking, can we use that office and actually change this country? I believe that we can. That office can effect changes that will trickle down. Because it turns out it's only in politics that it doesn't start from the head. But I'm thinking it starts from the head. If the head takes charge, everything works out. If the boss knows their onions, everybody picks it up. It's a natural process. So I'm asking the people at the top to fix up. Fix up. Watch the people below you. Watch the people beneath you and make sure that everybody acts accordingly. It's naturally that simple. The way the governor of Enugu State is making sure everybody does their job is the way we expect everybody to do their job. I will leave you here. Let's talk about this again tomorrow morning. My name is Mavis Atudume. I encourage you to not let yourself be beat down by all that is happening. Instead, be encouraged, be strong, and try to have a great day while you're out there today. Good morning.